Have you ever met someone and felt something different, but couldn't explain what it was? Today, I want to show you 7 clear, but often overlooked, signs that God may be sending someone who truly loves you. And as you listen, pay attention to what you feel. Let's start with a sign that changes everything, and if you ignore it, it can lead you to stay in something that was never meant for you. 1. Peace, not confusion. There's a big difference between intensity and peace. Intensity can feel strong, it can even feel like love, but peace is what sustains something real. Think about it. When you're dealing with someone, are you constantly trying to figure things out? Overanalyzing messages, replaying conversations, trying to interpret silence, creating scenarios in your head. One day, everything feels perfect. The next day, you don't even know where you stand. That's exhausting. That's draining. And most importantly, that's confusing. And God doesn't work through confusion. When something comes from God, it doesn't mean it will be perfect. It doesn't mean there won't be challenges, but it does mean that in the middle of everything, there's a sense of peace that doesn't depend on the other person's inconsistency. You're not constantly on edge. You don't feel like you're walking on eggshells. You're not living in fear of losing them. There's a calm inside you, like something is quietly saying, "You're okay, this is right." And that matters, because a lot of people get used to chaos. They think love is supposed to be complicated. They think suffering is part of it, but it's not. A healthy connection doesn't leave you confused all the time. If you constantly have to ask yourself, how do they really feel about me? Something is off. Because real love brings clarity, not constant doubt. 2. They bring you closer to God. Now let me ask you something honestly. Since this person came into your life, do you feel closer to God or further away? That question alone reveals a lot. Because when someone is truly sent by God, they don't take God's place in your life. They don't become your center, your emotional dependency, or the thing that controls your peace. Instead, they align you. You start wanting to grow, not because of pressure, but naturally. You pray more, you reflect more, you become more aware of who you are. You want to be better, not because someone is forcing you, but because something inside you is waking up. And that's powerful. Now, on the other hand, if being with that person is pulling you away from your values, making you compromise what you believe, putting you in situations you know aren't right, that's not love aligned with God. Love that comes from God will never distance you from Him. Never. It may not be perfect, but it will never lead you away. So pay attention. The right person doesn't compete with your relationship with God. They strengthen it. 3. Love is shown through actions, not just words. Words are easy, very easy. Anyone can say exactly what you want to hear. They can promise things, express feelings, paint a perfect picture with just words. But real love shows up in behavior, in the small things, in consistency, in presence, in care, especially when it's not convenient. And you don't see that in one moment, you see it over time. Because it's not about intensity, it's about repetition. They say it, and they show it. They promise, and they follow through. They say they care, and you actually feel it. Not in a perfect way, but in a real one. Let me be honest with you. If someone says they love you, but leaves you feeling insecure, ignored, or like an option, that's not love. It might feel strong, it might feel real in the moment, but it's not solid. Real love doesn't make you question your worth. It reassures it. And when it comes from God, there's no emotional manipulation, no games, just honesty. You don't have to decode everything, because their actions speak clearly. 4. They respect your boundaries. This is one of the most overlooked signs, and one of the most important. Because a lot of people confuse pressure with passion, persistence with love, and end up accepting things they shouldn't. But hear this clearly. Someone who truly loves you respects your boundaries, your emotional boundaries, your physical boundaries, your spiritual boundaries. They don't pressure you. They don't rush you. They don't push you into things you're not ready for. Instead, they honor it, even when it's inconvenient, even when it requires patience. Now, when that's missing, the signs are obvious. They pressure you. They make you feel guilty for saying no. They try to convince you to cross lines you know you shouldn't. And sometimes, it's subtle. If you really cared about me, everyone does this. You're overthinking it. That's not love. That's manipulation. Real love doesn't push you against your values. It respects you. Because someone who truly wants to build with you isn't trying to rush what matters.
5. Consistency. This is one of the clearest signs, but also one of the most ignored. Consistency. Not perfection. Consistency. You know how they show up. You know how they treat you. You know what to expect. And that brings peace. Now compare that to the opposite. Amazing one day, distant the next. Warm, then cold, then back again. That's not emotional depth. That's instability. And instability doesn't build anything lasting. It might keep your attention. It might even create emotional attachment, but it doesn't build something real. What comes from God grows steadily, not in chaos, not in extremes, but with balance. And that might not feel as exciting at first, but it's what lasts. Because love isn't just about feeling, it's about showing up consistently. 6. They correct you with love, not to tear you down. A real relationship isn't about agreeing on everything. And someone who truly loves you won't just ignore everything either. But there's a huge difference between correction and destruction. Someone who corrects with love speaks with care, chooses their words, thinks about how it affects you. Their goal isn't to win, it's to help you grow. Now, someone who tears you down uses your weaknesses against you, embarrasses you, makes you feel small. And sometimes they call that honesty. But honesty without love is just harshness. When someone comes from God, there's balance. They won't ignore your flaws, but they won't use them to hurt you either. They help you become better. And that's rare, because it takes maturity, humility, and real intention. If someone only criticizes you or accepts everything without caring about your growth, both extremes are unhealthy. Real love builds you. 7. There is purpose, not just emotion. Now, the deepest sign of all. Because this goes beyond what you feel. It's about what it means. Feelings matter, but feelings alone can be misleading. They can be intense, they can feel perfect, and still have no direction. When something comes from God, there is purpose. You begin to see that it's not empty. It's not just about the two of you, it's about growth, learning, building something meaningful. There's depth, even if you can't fully explain it. You feel like it's not random. Now be careful with this. Purpose doesn't mean it will be easy. It doesn't mean everything will work perfectly. It means there's value, that something real is being built beyond the moment. And that changes everything. Because you stop focusing only on what you feel and start paying attention to what it's producing in your life. Maybe as you were listening, some things started to make sense. Maybe you recognized some of these signs, or maybe you realized they're not there. And that can be hard, but it's necessary. Because in the end, it's not about finding someone quickly, It's about not losing yourself, trying to hold on to something that was never right. If it's from God, it will bring peace. It will bring you closer to Him. It will be built on truth. Not perfect, but real. And most importantly, it won't require you to lose who you are, just to be loved. So instead of asking, "Is this the right person?" ask something deeper. Is what I'm experiencing bringing me closer or further away from what God has for me? Because when you answer that honestly, you stop guessing and you start choosing better.